Hey guys, it's Charlie, and today's video is going to be about 5 things that I love about Mexico. These things are not in any specific order, and I have more than 5 things because right when I pressed record, I thought of another thing that I love about Mexico. So I'll probably end up doing another 5 things I love about Mexico video just so that I can tell you guys what I love about Mexico. Those of you who have been watching my videos since I arrived in Mexico have seen that I've had a really good experience. But if you've seen any of my videos in Korea, you'll see that I've made a big change from Korea to living in Mexico. I've just developed a lot as a person. I've grown a lot. I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of time to reflect on lessons that I've learned in Korea, and I've learned to implement them here in Mexico. That being said, I'm going to start with number 1 of my things that I love about Mexico. I can't say it anymore about how much I love Mexico. I think I say it in every video probably, or you can at least see it in every video. Number 1 is the food. I absolutely love Mexican food, and Mexican food has always been my favorite type of food. Growing up, my mom has always cooked Mexican food, even though we're not Mexican. And so Mexican food has always been my number 1. My mom prefers to cook Mexican food and eat Mexican food. But the thing about coming to Mexico is actually tasting the real, authentic Mexican food. And there are similar things from Mexican food in LA and Mexican food in Mexico, but there are some complete differences. Things like, for one, that you've seen in my videos are quesadillas. Quesadillas here in Mexico are completely different, and for example, quesadillas here look more like tacos in the US because they fill them with a bunch of different things, whereas in the US, quesadillas usually only have cheese and maybe something else, but usually it's only cheese. And here in Mexico, what I love is that I gave up cheese and I was able to still have quesadillas, because I know quesadillas without cheese, the world is going to end, but and the cheese in Mexico is so delicious. Quesillo, queso Oaxaca, it's the most delicious cheese I've ever tasted in my life. I've talked about it in my other videos. It's like string cheese, and I figured that if I could give up cheese in Mexico, I could give up cheese anywhere, because when I tasted queso Oaxaca, quesillo, I was like, wow, how am I ever going to give up cheese? But I did it, and now I have quesadillas with vegetables instead of cheese, and it works out really fine because of the beautifully flavored salsas here. They just add so much flavor to the quesadillas and different foods. And the other thing that I love is the blue corn. It's just something different. In the US, I have never found a blue corn quesadilla or anything made with blue corn. And here in Mexico, all I have is blue corn, pretty much. I rarely ever have anything other than blue corn. So that's a thing that I love. The food is, it's easy to be a vegetarian here. And another thing, the juices are very inexpensive and abundant. Fruit in general is everywhere. You can see fruit on the street. There are people selling fruit cut up in cups on the street, and then you have juice stands. I showed you guys a video of the juice stand that I go to all the time. I like to buy my green juice from him, and it doesn't come in a jar. It comes in like a styrofoam thing, but I like to drink it in a jar. And I like to drink my green juice, and just fruit is like abundant here. Vegetables, everything is all here that you need, and so it's really easy to be a vegetarian here, which is what I like, because I love my juices and I love my vegetables. That's what I love about living in Mexico, is knowing that yes, people eat meat, and yes, people might think it's weird that I'm a vegetarian, but it's really easy to be like, see, I can make this dish out of your authentic Mexican dish, but it has no meat. And so it's really cool to be able to adjust to different dishes, but make them vegetarian. And so yeah, the number 2 thing is Mexicans. I absolutely love Mexicans, and obviously I haven't met every single Mexican, but in general I've had a really good experience with Mexicans. Mexicans here in Mexico have been completely welcoming to me, and I have had a really good experience with Mexicans here. I've had people who have welcomed me in, who have shown so much kindness, so much love towards me, even though I'm not from here. And I think a part of that goes into number 3. So number 2 is I love Mexicans. Mexicans have been really loving, really fun. Just the energy that I get. They're very hardworking from what I have experienced, you know, and this might be like one of my things I hate about Mexico videos, but it's not really about Mexico, it's more about the US. And one thing is that when I hear a lot of people talking about Mexicans moving to the US and how they don't want them to move to the US, and I see the hard work of Mexicans here in Mexico, but not only that, I've seen the hard work of Mexicans in the US. And because I grew up with Mexicans, all of my friends were Mexican, and I grew up with their families. They took me into their homes, and I got to experience that aspect of Mexicans in the US. I've seen how hard they've worked to be able to get jobs and to survive and to stay in the country. I've seen Mexicans get kicked out of the US. Well, not seen physically, but I've seen these things of how hardworking they are for their families, and this is a generalization, obviously, and I can't really generalize, but this is what my experience personally with the Mexicans that I've experienced has been. So I'm not talking about every Mexican, whether it's a good generalization or a bad generalization. You can't really generalize, but I'm just talking about my experience. So that's one thing that I have found, is that Mexicans have been very hardworking, and you know, they're willing to do the jobs that other people are not willing to do. They're willing to work really hard with jobs that people don't want to do, and they do it. And I haven't experienced them complaining about having to work the jobs that they're given, because they're just happy to have a job that pays well, or at least decent, you know. And it's not even like amazing, but compared to, you know, the average Mexican in Mexico, what they're making, it's, you know, they're really happy to make more, you know, with whatever work they're given. So moving on to number 3, and number 3 is the reason why I think I've had such an amazing time with Mexicans. And it's not only that, but I think it's improved my experience here in Mexico, and it's because of the language. I absolutely love Spanish, and it's my second language, and I'm really comfortable with the Spanish language, and I think that has helped my experience in Mexico. Definitely, if you come to Mexico and you don't speak Spanish, I think you will still have a good experience, but I definitely recommend you learn the language, because I don't think you should come to a country and not at least speak the basics, you know. If you're going to live here and work here and, you know, be here for at least a year, you need to learn how to survive and communicate. And Spanish language is so beautiful, and I think that speaking the language definitely helps with your experience, because people are more motivated to help you and to build relationships with you when they feel that you're at their level. So the Spanish language is something I absolutely love about Mexico. And I know I don't speak Spanish enough in my videos, but it's mainly because I'm lazy. And when I edit my video, I have to type in all of the English and translate it, and so I get really lazy, so I just end up speaking in English in my videos, but I can speak in Spanish in my videos. So it's just mainly my lazy editing situation. So the language is absolutely beautiful, and yes, that's number 3 of what I love about Mexico. Number 4 is the transportation. The transportation in Mexico, you know, maybe it's not the best that it could be, but it's really good. At least I have had a really good time traveling and living in Mexico because transportation is so easy. There are tons of ways to get around here, from a regular bus to the subway, which we would call in Mexico the metro. And then they have a mix between the bus and the metro, which is called the metrobus. And this is similar to, it would look like a bus, but at the same time like a metro, like a subway. There's different stations, and you go into the little aisle and you wait for the bus to come, and it's like a subway and a bus at the same time. So that's the third transportation. They have peseros, which usually cost between 3 to 5 pesos. And these are like little buses, but they're more like the little, like, I want to say ghetto bus, but it's not really like a bus, like a bus truck or something. I don't know. So that's the metro. And then they have the, like, I guess you would say the, what is it called? Those big buses where you can go across like for an hour or two, you know. I can't think of what it's called, and I will link it, or I will put a little annotation of what it's called, because I can't think of what it's called right now. But they have those big, charter buses. They have charter type buses where you can travel for a longer distance.
Hola.
So they have that, and then they have taxis, which are everywhere, and they're cheap, and you know, they help you get around faster. And so that, I just mentioned 5 types of transportation. I'm sure there's more. They have like a light train. There's different types of trains and things like that. So that might add to the list. But I counted at least 5 ways of transportation. And I think it's amazing because it's cheap and it's really simple. So yes, I love the transportation here in Mexico. Number 5 is the traditional, clothing and the traditional trinkets, I guess you would say. I absolutely love Mexican traditional type clothing and little knick-knack type things, you know. The colors are what gets me. If you've noticed, I like colorful things, and well, lately I've been wearing a lot of purple, but many people who see me on the street comment on all of the colors that I wear, because I'm always wearing, you know, like different colored things with a bunch of different colors, and I like to mix and match all of my colors. I don't have to like match them, but they're just like, sometimes I'll have like on a purple shirt with a blue bow and then a yellow bracelet, and you know, I just like everything colorful, and I just feel like Mexico is a colorful country. And so yes, I love Mexico for all of the colorful trinkets and different beautiful like artwork and things that are made by hand and things that are done that are just so colorful. I have this basket in my bathroom. It's a woven basket that you guys have seen, and it's just beautifully colored, and I just love my life with a lot of color. And clothing here is very colorful, and you don't see, this is the thing, you don't see people just walking around in these like embroidered colorful clothing, even though that would be something I would absolutely love, because I love all of those embroidered types of tops and dresses, and the white flowy dresses with the beautiful colorful embroidery, and then the little purses that are really colorful, very unique to Mexico. I just absolutely love it. And so yeah, I absolutely love like the Mexican traditional items, clothing items and trinkets and things like that. I absolutely love it. Those are 5 things that I love about Mexico. What are some things that you love about Mexico? Please comment them in the comment section. Check out my website, blackpearlworld.com, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.